Hello again, welcome back to Illegally Cited. This is BGFH, and I am back for another accessible iOS app video. It's been a while since I've done one of these here, but wanted to cover this one. I actually tried recording this earlier, only to realize upon trying to get it up to YouTube that my recording stopped about halfway through the video. So, and I for some reason didn't realize it, and now I'm re-recording it, so here we go. The app we're looking at this time is actually pretty handy. I've been using it quite a bit lately. It's called Lear RSS Reader, or I'm not exactly sure how it's said or how to say it. It's L-I-R-E, Lire, whatever. Here's how VoiceOver says it.
Lire. Double tap to open.
There you go. So I'll spell it.
L-I-R-E.
And there you go.
Echo.
It is an RSS reader. So those who are unfamiliar with RSS readers, basically what they are is they are a nice way to quickly and easily read content. Now there are different types of RSS readers. You know, like technically a podcast app is sort of like it's a RSS reader for podcasts, essentially. Audio podcasts, video podcasts, both, whatever. Lire is basically a RSS reader that you pretty much use for text articles. And what's really nice about that, especially prior to iOS 9, is that advertisements are actually becoming really problematic and really annoying. Not just on desktop, but increasingly on mobile. I found myself really coming back to RSS on mobile because there were several sites that I would visit on my phone when I was out and about or wherever. And, you know, I don't mind a couple of ads here and there if they just, you know, maybe if they tie into the content of the page, you know, if they're themed along with the page, and if they're off to the side or, you know, few and far between, whatever. But the problem is there's so many sites, even on mobile, that you actually get, like, every other screen is a giant ad. Sometimes they're media ads, meaning that, like, you go to the page and they'll start playing audio, they'll start playing video. Maybe they hover over the actual article of the page. So, like, you're trying to read the article and then you have this ad that actually kind of pops up in front of you. And maybe it even scrolls up and down the page with you, which is super annoying. You know, those types of things are just really, like I said, it's been that way on computers forever, but now it's actually starting to creep into mobile. And especially people have, you know, all these phone companies are getting rid of their unlimited data plans. I don't want to take all my data up with all these media-rich ads. And add to that,
Screen dimmed.
when I'm using VoiceOver...
Shooty skies. Recently... Lire.
Hush. I just had to make it so I didn't lock the screen there. When you are using VoiceOver, what I found is that a lot of these ads can even slow down your page more. So what happens is like I'll accidentally touch an ad while I'm trying to zip through a page, and sometimes like VoiceOver won't recognize it, or it'll not be sure exactly what to do with the ad. It'll just behave a little bit strangely. And VoiceOver can even become unresponsive. There's a couple websites where that really happens. So I thought, you know what? Let's get back into this RSS stuff. I use RSS on my computer all the time, but let's go look at some options for RSS on the phone. So let's jump right into
Lire. Double tap to open.
As VoiceOver says it. But if I am pronouncing it wrong,
Automatic
I
refresh
have no
triggered.
idea.
Finishing.
I'm sorry, but I'm not exactly sure. So
Caching.
we have a simple little web interface, or a simple little interface here. You start at the top left.
Settings button.
We got a settings button up there.
Sync mode. Default. No syncing button.
Sync mode, VoiceOver glitched up a little bit there. Sync mode, basically you have basic sync mode, which is what I'm using now. If you do have a Feedly account, you can import your RSS list from that. I do not have that, so I have not done so.
Lire. Heading.
Oh, hush.
Progress. 38 of 82 cached.
Okay, so we're caching articles right now because we're open the app and we're online.
Subscriptions.
So subscriptions, this is where I typically go. This is where once you add a subscription, you can go look at your feeds and read said content.
All articles, 2,769 total unread articles.
All articles, now this is just, it doesn't put them in any particular order. It just says, oh, okay, we're going to grab all the articles from all your feeds, and we're just going to let you zip through them, you know, boom, 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 and you can just kind of go. Some people might like to navigate that way. I really don't. I usually like to go feed by feed and go that way.
Starred, no unread starred articles.
Starred, no unread starred articles. That's pretty self-explanatory if you want to come back to something later.
Folders.
Folders, you can actually make folders, so that's actually kind of cool. Maybe something I need to look into, especially if you start getting to have a lot of RSS feeds. You know, for me, myself, I could have like a tech one, an assistive tech one, or an accessibility one. I could do a gaming folder, that kind of thing. Self-explanatory.
Search.
Search, this is just searching any of the articles that I have so far. There's another search that I'll explain here shortly.
Ebooks.
Ebooks, if you want to grab a book in ebook format, you can read them here. I have not experimented any with that because for pretty much for most part, ebooks, if I'm going to read them, I'm going to read them in VoiceOver Reader or another app. But, you know, if you want to read them in here, you can. Web, you can do its own little mini web browser thing, which is kind of handy. One thing that I'll mention about the articles themselves when you go into an article, like I'll use some gaming sites for an example. Like if I were to go to Polygon, or if I were to go to IGN or Kotaku or wherever, sometimes, you know, a lot of sites, the articles have embedded video of like, oh, check out this video or whatever for such and such game or such and such event or whatever. I haven't really been able to play said embedded video in the article, and I don't know if there's a setting that I haven't found yet to make that happen. But it'll say, like, there's a link that says kind of like embedded content, but then it doesn't really go where I think it should go. So that's still a little bit sketchy. One thing I'd like to figure out a little bit more.
Settings button.
Settings. Let's just go in here really
heading.
quickly.
Sync mode, default, standalone, user interface sounds, switch button, on.
So I have my thing muted, so all I'm hearing is VoiceOver, but like you have user interface sounds for like when you're syncing data and things like that.
Unread count badge, switch button, off.
Unread.
Double tap to toggle setting.
I don't care about badges.
Font, GillSense button.
I can change my font. This is going to be helpful if you're doing this as a low vision user. You can customize what font you want.
Theme, night button.
Theme, this is my favoriteest feature. You know how many times I've talked about iOS, about Windows, about certain apps. You notice that we got this cool night theme going on here. We got black backgrounds, white text, or we have at least dark gray backgrounds with light text. Much easier on the eyes, especially in a lower light setting like I am in right now. Very pleased. It's not that way by default, but it's just super easy to switch. You can change it here, and you can change it right when you're looking at an article too.
Wi-Fi only automatic downloads, switch button, off.
So if you want to only download over Wi-Fi to save your cellular data, you have that option too.
Accessibility / VoiceOver options button.
And then what's cool is you have all kinds of accessibility and VoiceOver. Let's go in here really quick because it's been a while since I've actually been in here.
This allows you to set what VoiceOver does and does not speak in a list of articles.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Speak time since article date, switch button, on. Speak article source / publisher, switch button, on. Speak article read / unread status, switch button, on. Speak article starred status, switch button. Speak article summary, switch button, on.
That's
Double
cool.
Tap to toggle
so
setting.
When you're going through the list of articles, you can really, you know, if you want it to be verbose, you can. By default, that's just what I have it set to. But as I'm going through the articles, maybe all I care about is the date and the article name. If I want to go to the article, I don't need the description. I can just go in and read the article.
Feed list options, heading. This allows you to set what VoiceOver does and does not speak in the list of feeds.
Okay.
Speak feed read / unread count, switch button, on.
Okay.
Double tapped folder list options, heading. This allows you to set what VoiceOver does and does not speak in the list of folders.
Cool.
Rows 5 to 8 of 8. This allows you to set what VoiceOver folder list options, heading. Speak full images, heading. With this toggled off, best efforts will be made to not display images in feeds / articles, but due to technical implementation details, it cannot be 100% guaranteed.
Okay, well that's cool.
Display images, switch button, on. Double tap to toggle setting.
So display images is still on for me, which for me I do want because often they'll have like a screenshot or something for the articles that I want to read, and that is handy for me. So I'm going to leave that on, but if you don't want images on, you can further save bandwidth and all that stuff for the most part
back button
as a VoiceOver user.
Accessibility /
That's pretty
VoiceOver
cool. I mean,
options.
this app is really thought through the accessibility stuff, and it's very VoiceOver accessible.
Caching options button.
Caching options.
Subscription options button. Folder options button. Refresh options button.
I'm not going to go through every little option here, but just to look at the amount of customization that you get. This is really not bad at all.
Done button.
We'll say done.
Settings.
Let's go
button.
into the meat of Lire, or whatever.
Subscriptions.
Subscriptions.
Back button.
Now here we have a list of my subscriptions that I have found and decided to subscribe to. So,
welcome. No unread
welcome.
articles.
I haven't really.
Actions available.
I haven't really. That's just something you get with the app. I could probably kill that if I wanted.
Polygon, 162 unread articles.
So Polygon.
Actions available. Kotaku, The Gamer's Guide, 319
Kotaku.
unread articles. Actions available. The Verge, 224 unread articles. Engadget Vertical Line Technology News, Advice and Mac Rumors, Apple Mac iMore, 374 Mac Rumors, Apple Mac iOS, the official site of the Minnesota Vikings, Windows IT Pro Vertical Line, Microsoft Windows, Gamer.com, on Reddit.com, 385
PC
unread
Gamer
articles.
is what that's supposed to
Actions
be. It just
available.
says it funny.
Apple Viz Vertical Line empowering blind and low vision users
And
of
there
Apple
we go,
products.
Apple Viz. So, you have a whole bunch of different options here. Let's just go into one of my feeds. Let's just start
Polygon,
at the top. and let's go to
162 unread
Polygon.
articles. Back button.
Now, I am in the list of articles.
Robert Rodriguez, James Cameron team up for Alita. Battle Angel James Cameron is finally producing a project that is near and dear to his heart after years of being in limbo, and he's enlisting the help of director Robert Rodriguez.
So now this
Although-
isn't, I'm not even reading the whole article. This is just when I tap the first article on the screen. Here's where, again, the VoiceOver sensitivity would be, really nice. Maybe I don't want to hear all the shenanigans until I go into the article. I can just say, well, I just want to hear the article and how long ago it was posted or whatever.
WWE 2K16 trailer uses your nose likeness,
Don't
and he's not
care.
happy about Wonder Woman gets new origin story in advance of Batman v Superman DC. Watch Mad Max. Fury Road get the 8-bit treatment scene. Fixes 8-bit cinema is renowned. Guild Wars 2 comes to esports with new Pro League. Massive Bandai Namco is killing its free-to-play fighting game Rise of Incarnate's publisher. How I Fell in Love with a Dead Girl. I'm sure you've noticed that the team here at 30 Polyfeller Plaza, The Mummy may be a woman in new film Universal doesn't have access to any of
see what
Mark
else we
Rose 8
got
to
here,
16.
Steve.
Guillermo del Toro. Silent Hill's cancellation. Make Anki Overdrive is a $150 toy that wants to replace slot cars in Mario Kart. It feels a bit like a magic trick.
Ooh,
The
that
toy
sounds
car on the
kinda
plastic
neat.
track
Let's
is
see what
talking to
that
me.
is.
Anki Overdrive is a $150. Polygon. Back button.
So here we got our screenshot. Okay. So let's, we got our picture here, we got our
Anki
article.
Overdrive is $150.
I'm cheating a little bit just to save us some time. So I'm kind of using Explore by Touch with VoiceOver just to kind of speed things along a little bit. But you got your title, you got your picture, and then you got your
It feels a bit like a magic
byline,
trick.
and then your actual article. So let's just do our two-finger swipe down.
It feels a bit like a magic trick. The toy car on the plastic track is talking to me, explaining the mechanics of the game. I hit the button on my phone to fire my tractor beam, and the other car slows down until it's in range of my main weapon, and I fire, causing the second car to stop completely. I blaze past it and win the race. The game I'm playing is a mix of classic slot cars and Mario Kart, and the starter kit costs a rather steep $150 and requires the use of 2 iOS or Android devices to pilot the cars. But what you get is a rather amazing mixture of classic play and video games. What is going
man.
on? Anki Overdrive is a sequel to the Anki Drive platform, Link, that came out in 2014 for $200. It was a neat idea, marry smart devices with slot car racing and layer on video game style mechanics for something that felt brand new. There were a few shortcomings with the product, however, not the least of which was that price, but the original track also came printed on a single sheet of vinyl. Overdrive is an updated version of the platform, and the $150 starter kit now comes with a modular track made up of 4 straight pieces and 4 turns. That allows you to create 8 different track configurations, and changing the track layout is as easy as pulling the pieces apart and clicking them back together in a different order. The pieces lock together via strong magnets, which makes track creation and destruction a fun and refreshingly simple task. Anki starter set. Image. The cars have to do a quick
cool.
test lap of the track to figure out its configuration before each race, and after that they always stay on the track, although you can change lanes by tilting your phone left or right. The technology is part of the fun, and it's fascinating to watch in action. The cars go around the turns and you can watch their sensors build a virtual image of the track on your phone. There are unique markings on each track piece that identify the type of the piece and allow the cars to determine their locations. Mark Palatucci, the co-founder and chief product officer of Anki, explained.
All right, well, there's a nice description, but that actually sounds really kind of neat. It's a shame that it's $150, and I'm guessing it looks like you only get like 4 pieces, they said, so I'm wondering if either even more devious to say, oh, you want a bigger, more complicated track? Here, we'll say some extra pieces. Yeah, man, I'd love to see this kind of mature a little bit further and maybe go on sale or something at some point, because that sounds kind of fun. I had slot cars when I was growing up. We had a slot car track, not too many pieces, but we played with it. It was pretty fun. I remember playing that with my brother and my dad.
Anki Overdrive is a $150 toy that
I
wants to
just
replace
hit
slot
back,
cars in Mario
and now
Kart.
we're
It feels
back
a
at
bit
the
like
Polygon list of articles. Now you notice if I touch that again,
Anki Overdrive is a $150 toy that wants to replace slot cars in Mario Kart. It feels a bit like a magic trick. The toy car on the plastic track. Anki Overdrive is a
Okay, so it doesn't say it right away. I think if we would have let it babble on... let me just do a flick and see if it tells us now.
Guillermo del Toro. Anki Overdrive is a $150... Doom closed alpha sign.
No, it doesn't seem to. Well, basically, looking at it visually, you can tell that that article that I just read and then the one right below it are kind of a dimmed gray. So that tells you that you've read the article. If I touch the article that I just read again,
Anki Overdrive is a $150
I can use my VoiceOver
toy that wants
flick up.
Mark as unread.
See, now it says mark as unread, so that tells you obviously that you have read it. Let's go back up to one of these other articles that I skipped.
Guillermo del Toro, Silent Hills cancellation makes no sense in an interview with Bloody Disgusting.
All right,
Guillermo,
so let's say that I don't really want to read that, so let's just say
mark as read.
Mark as read. And now it turns to that gray color. Now, when I started using this app, I actually did, when I was going through, I did go and mark every article. You know, like even if I didn't read it, I just marked it as read so it would show up as however many articles. Now I don't care as much, and basically I just, start at the top, and, once I start seeing articles I recognize from before, then I just continue on, or I just go back and go to another feed. But if you want to manage that, and if you, especially like I said, if you use not really the subscription area, but if you use like the all articles thing, that will come into play a little bit more there.
Blizzard's Overwatch goes into public beta October 27th. Overwatch,
and
Blizzard's team-based shooter that was unveiled at last year's BlizzCon, is going into public beta. Subscriptions.
That works
Gamer.com
for
on
going back
Reddit.com
as well. You don't have to necessarily find the back button. So again, it's just really accessible, really nice way to read a whole bunch of articles really quickly.
Yataku, The Gamer's
Sure,
Guide,
let's just go into the next
319
one
on
here
Reddit,
real
back
quick and
button.
just look at a couple of articles.
Here's Fallout 4 running on a PS Vita tweeted out today by Bethesda. The above image shows off the PlayStation Vita's ability to run Fallout 4, streamed from a PS4. Not a bad perk if you've got Sid Meier's name is on the box, but still is Destiny's latest Iron Banner.
We'll be looking at Fallout 4 eventually, I'm sure, but that's going to be a PC endeavor. I already have it pre-ordered on Steam.
Steam scam report group changes name to be less aggressive. Last week I reported on a Steam curator group called America's Biggest League of Legends team just implode. Darth Vader being a total badass in Star Wars Battlefront. Here's Darth Vader, single-handed, one of your favorite 2 terabyte external.
Anyway, you get the idea. I can go into one of these articles. Let's go back to the feed list here.
Yataku, The Gamer's Guide,
Because
319 on Reddit.
now,
Subscriptions.
Now that we're looking at the subscriptions area of the app.
Edit button. Add subscription button.
Add subscription. Now what I thought
Gadgets.
I was going to have to do was I thought I was going to have to manually go and add an RSS feed link, like the XML link that you get for an RSS feed. Thankfully, that is not the case. I can browse by category, or I can search, which is a beautiful thing. So let's say...
Search, heading. Search or enter address, search field.
So
Double
there
tap
I
to
can
edit.
search or enter address, it says.
Technology button.
Technology.
Gadgets button. Sports button. Business button. Finance button. Design button. Fashion button. Photography button. Entertainment button.
You get the idea, a whole bunch of categories, and then if I were to go in there, it'll give me certain links to a certain feed. So let's just say...
Search or enter address, search field. Double search field is editing.
let's see
Search
if-
or enter address. Cap H. Cap G. Cap G. I. A. N. T. Space. Giant. B. O. M. V. Victor. C.
Oops.
B. Search.
Let's search.
Searching. Ellipsis. Giant
Okay.
Bomb unarchived. Giant Bomb. YouTube. You can learn more about Giant Bomb Premium here. http://
Now we have subscription on
www.giantbomb.com.
YouTube.
Giant Bomb. YouTube. Yoshi's Woolly World. Giant Bomb Quick Look. Giant Bomb unarchived. YouTube. Archiving the unarchived. Run by several members of Giant Bomb is a review site and a wiki-style video game database. Giant Bomb Video Buddy iOS. Android is a free phone and tablet app that allows you to watch or Giant Bomb. Clash of Clans wiki. When you're
Sometimes, like when you do look up something, it's a little bit tricky to know which one to subscribe to. Some of them are like instantly obvious, and usually it'll be like the first or second item. This one, like especially if you have a website that's really large and they have lots of RSS feeds for that, you want to find the right one. Maybe you want an overall RSS, or maybe you want, like, let's say if you did, I'll just say IGN. Do you want their PC version? Do you want their Xbox One area, or what other, maybe their videos or their news, or whatever kind of RSS feed you want. What if I...
Giant Bomb, YouTube. You can learn more about Giant Bomb Premium here. Giant Bomb Alert. https://www.youtube.com/feed/videos.xml
No, I don't want a
question
YouTube
cancel
feed.
button.
So it does let you see...
Subscribe
I
button.
can subscribe.
Cancel
I'm
button.
going to cancel because I don't want to subscribe
Search
to a
result done
YouTube
button.
feed.
Sales/learns vertical line Giant Bomb Clash of Clans Wiki. Giant Bomb is a review site and a wiki-style video game database.
Let's see what this is.
Giant Bomb Alert. https://www.reddit.com/r/giantbomb/rss. Cancel button. Cancel. Search results for.
So Giant Bomb is being a little finicky. But like I said, all the ones that I've done so far have just been, oh, I looked up Polygon. Oh, I looked up AppleVis. I looked up whatever. And it's been pretty easy. So you may have a little bit of hit and miss. You may have to like double tap on them and actually look at the RSS feed link. You can kind of tell, is it a actual site from the actual website, or is it something from YouTube or Reddit or whatever. I know the PC Gamer one I had a little bit of trouble with too, and I think I might look for a different feed on that one. But like I said, the point is that you don't have to manually go look up on your computer or another app. You don't have to go look up the feeds. They make it possible to import those right into your app this way. So let's just say
button.
Done. And we're back at
subscriptions.
Our list. So
The Verge, 224
really,
unread articles.
honestly, there's not a lot more to say. This is the Lear, this is the RSS Reader app for iOS. I believe it supports both iPhone and iPads. And what you want to look for, like I said, this is a really good app, especially if you're looking at accessibility, because you saw how much attention to detail they put into the app as supporting VoiceOver. So that works really well. The other thing that I'll mention about RSS readers is you want to make sure, if you're looking for whether it's this one or if you want something else, you want to look for something that actually has full text RSS. And basically what I mean by that is what they'll try to do, if you're looking at articles on the computer and you see a lot of these reviews or coverage of certain items, like I know in tech things I'll see multi-page reviews or multi-page breakdowns of some service or game or whatever. And what happens is they'll actually, you read like the first few paragraphs, but then you have to click through to the second page. Lire, it basically does a pretty good job from what I've seen of handling those articles. You don't just get the first little page. It tries to figure out and go, okay, this is one of those multi-page articles. Let's see if we can grab the whole thing. It's not just going to grab a partial article for the most part. Now, it depends again how the website itself created their content, and if it's, you noticed even under the settings there, it said, well, there's certain things like, we can try to predict how things are going to react, but based on how other people create their code, you may or may not have optimal results. And I could say the same thing for like the multi-page kind of content here as well. I guess the news app in iOS 9 kind of has maybe lessened the need to some degree for some people for like a simple news RSS reader type of thing, because it's free, and I know a lot of people don't like to pay money for anything, and it is included, which is nice. And the news app, like I said, I showed you in the iOS 9 video that it does work pretty well. And I might use that a little bit here, but I also think that having a little bit more control, like I can specifically decide what things I want and only those things. If I want to discover things, like the news app might be a good thing for if I want to, like I said, I get some articles or some websites or some news things added, and it helps me discover more. That's kind of the thing that's useful there. But I think I still will use a standalone reader because I'm a little bit more in control of just what I want to see. And again, if you have a Feedly account, you can import your RSS list from there, not having to restart from scratch like I did here. So yeah, that is a quick look at Lire for iOS. Can't remember the price in the App Store, but it is actually not very expensive. I believe it is a couple bucks. But from what its functionality is, and you noticed how, like I said, again, how extensive its VoiceOver support is. So again, if that's something that's important to you, they took the time to really do that, and they seem to be keeping up on it. I've, read when I was trying to figure out what RSS reader I wanted to use on my phone. I looked at a couple things on Apple Viz, and I looked elsewhere, and this app seemed to really fit the bill. And so I checked it out, and it seems well worth it to me. And even like I said, for low vision, I can customize the font. I have my nice dark theme here. Just like I said, just imagine, iOS or even Windows or all these operating systems in general, just so much less harsh on the eyes. I really like this. I go back to the home screen.
Lire.
I go back to, if I go back to like settings or something, it's just bright. I know I mention it a lot, but it's just one of my little pet peeve annoyances that, like, it's a really, really easy fix that no one really seems to care about anymore. It's when iOS started their iOS 7, everyone followed along and went to this really flat, really bright look, and it's just... yeah, I know that's the in thing right now, but come on, guys, let's make it happen. Give us a little bit of an option here. So, anyway, I digress. Hope you guys enjoyed the video for this RSS reader. And follow me on Twitter at BGFH79. And subscribe to the channel and tell others. Like I said, I'm glad to see we're getting more subscribers. We're just under 300, it looks like, so that's pretty cool. Other than that, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and until next time, I'll talk to you guys again